great orator like Eric is, and I've been the mayor of Los Angeles, and I then come as ambassador to India. Maybe I would have aspired to speak better than him, but I won't even get into that. Thank you so much, Eric. It means a lot when you not say, but when you do. And I think you've done a lot. You know, when I normally give my sort of final words for this year, I always wonder, what should I say? So my colleagues are so good, they write out a whole sheet of all the things that we've done or not done and what I should say. But I just find that I can only have words of gratitude for all of you guys to come and spend time here. It means a lot to the Earth Heroes. It means a lot to Earth. I realize somebody told me how much pollution, coming, airfares, carbon, all that is true. But at least to gather on one cause like this is, I think, just worth it. I thank each one of you for making the time. There's so many people with so much work, meaning all the way from, meaning Boston, Harvard, all the way from Bombay. Sounds like Harvard because it's that far, all the way from Dubai. You know, everything seems far. And of course, I have a special friend, both Radhika and I, Kim, who came all the way just for delivering this speech, only to test the waters. Hopefully next year she'll do much more along with my other colleagues. She was not sure what she was getting into. Let me tell you that, that's the truth. So like most people here actually have this big issue. Let me tell you, it's been an incredible journey for 12 years. Every time we go and looking for partnerships, I won't even talk about countries. It is impossible to get partnerships and get funds and money, to do something like this. Not through us, even if they did it directly and we facilitated it would happen. There is with us so many people who are foresters here, and it's an incredible tribute to all of them to do this. The government plays an important role. Over the last 2-3 days, I've been reflecting on many of the conversations people have. The law of commons, the government owns everything finally. And it is really not blaming them, but working with them. And the people who succeed in working with them are the ones who succeed. Mr. Ramadharai is a true testament to that when he made information technology such an important thing. When he started, he had $45 million was the turnover. He had, I think, 400 people. My figures may be wrong, they may be more than what he actually had. I just think from there to take TCS to where it is absolutely inspirational. That's what we need to do with forestry. And that's what we need to do with everything that we are living. It's not about going back. Somebody asked me, are we going back into the forest age? No, we're not. It's just respecting what is there. You saw those people from Dima Hassan. You saw a person discovering fish. And somebody may ask you, why are you discovering 100 fish? What's the use to the world? What's the use of planting more trees? Why are you actually talking about the people who are over 80 years old and enjoying their life and saying that's the way life should be? I think the point is, there must be a balance between what we do. We must understand where we are and where we go. And I give this great story always of Adam Smith. Adam Smith talked about land, labor, capital, and organization. 4 things: land, labor, capital, and organization. He transformed the world from 1700 into making that the mantra of life. But that's only 350, 400 years ago. What happened before that? And the world survived all those thousands of years before that without actually just diverting that mantra. I think what we really have is we've created an agricultural revolution. We created an industrial revolution. We need to create an ecological revolution. I think it's just waiting to be taken. We haven't got the formula right, so it's not about saying what's bad, but it's about saying what good can be done. The fish example, the example of the people who are actually growing forests and organic sort of growth in these places where productivity is not there. See, one of the things we learned, and maybe a lot of ways I'm blaming Harvard, but it is not Harvard. It's a question of everybody around it, is basically better, brighter, faster, cheaper. If your formula in your business and life can be better, brighter, faster, cheaper, you'll win. And that's really what the forests can't do. But there's a process of growth. There's a process from seed to feed. There's a process from feed to regrowth and regeneration. So I really believe and appeal to all of you to commend the last few days, not just the Earth Heroes. There's people who came and spoke over the last few days, were incredibly knowledgeable. Each person actually made so much effort to make their presentation. This is not a forced forum. This is a forum where we do invite people, but we don't force anybody that you do this presentation or that. So people come and actually present their points of view as to what the world should be. So let a little bit more before I stop, because I realize I'm coming in between our beverages and food, is that what have we done for 12 years? What have we achieved from this big conversation, lofty ideas and lofty thoughts? Maybe what was good, what's bad, what's indifferent? I think there are 4 things we've been able to achieve. The conversation and narrative that ecology is economy, something that Eric also mentioned in a different way, has actually started to be rooted anywhere I go. And having been privileged to work almost any place of the world, I think everywhere the language is changing. It's not about global north and global south. Everybody's talking about it. 2, the most important thing is they believe that the biggest carbon sequester, I'm not a great votary of carbon because carbon is just another item. I believe in ecological neutrality, there are many ways of doing that. But carbon has become a transactable and monetizable commodity. It never was. Not to forget that we are all carbon. So when I asked this great carbon expert from one of the global north countries, then what about human beings? Are they calculated in your carbon? He said, oh no, we didn't take that in. So I'm saying there is a lot of, it's work in progress. At least they're thinking and they're doing something towards that. So the first is ecology is economy. Second is importance of biodiversity. Not only is that important, the third element we've been able to establish, do papers and talk to people, is the valuation of nature. Now, some people say, should you value nature only monetarily? Then you go back to Adam Smith, or do you take the value of nature with some other items? So we came out in all our debates with some other items, and we said, what are the social benefits of valuation? One is it creates water underneath, so your aquifer management. 2 is it creates fertility for the soil, that is soil fertility, therefore growth and food for all. It creates oxygen. So I can carry on and tell you the microcosm of that whole statement, but the reality is that where we are going is something that we are discussing. So that's the third thing, valuation. Growing, valuation, and ecology is economy. Last but not least, one of the things that have come completely to the forefront is that community is important. Indigenous community, even more important. Not as if to say that, oh, poor fellows, they've missed the bus, they don't have 3 cars and 5 holidays, not like me. It's not about that. It's about the fact that these guys have the knowledge which we did not capture, because we changed the paradigm of definition of everything. So we say this country is doing well. If you look at it even now, I had the honor and privilege of meeting many leaders, including in India, and I say, why doesn't the Prime Minister stand up and say that this is the value of my natural assets? 22 trillion, let's say. Our economy, we are striving to get from 2 trillion to 5 trillion. Look at the difference. These are just exaggerated figures, so not to be taken. I'm just giving you a point. The natural asset calculation, nobody wants to do. Actually, if you take that, the whole paradigm shifts. For example, if we take the paradigm in Arunachal and see that there are more than 100 trillion trees, and if you take the trees and just cut the trees, including bamboo, forget biodiversity, forget mushrooms, and just sell it, we did a calculation to show that those trees were more valuable than Bombay's Nariman Point. So all the buildings combined, the Bombay's Nariman Point did not actually stack up to the forestry here. We didn't count water, we didn't count biodiversity, just trees. I mean, just saying, assuming they were teak trees, or bamboo, which are hard bamboo, which the tensile strength which we talked about earlier today is very strong. So if you really look at it, the value in rural areas, if you take all these parameters, or some of them, you will find is much greater than the value of a city. But we have turned the whole thing around and actually reversed value the whole thing. Now, this is the fourth discussion point that is happening. The last point is, these forums have helped to create friendships, and that is key. I'm saying all these friendships we've got people from all over. We've got people, because there are regional forums we do through the year. Don't ask me who pays for it, because it's really a big challenge. Nobody wants to give you. If I say I'm doing a regional forum in Bhutan, then Bhutan, we don't have products and services. I'm doing it in Agartala. What are you saying? Agartala, back or beyond, is somewhere else. If I say I'm doing it in Imphal, oh, war-torn country, don't do it. Do it in Kohima. No, not. In Kohima, we do watershed management through another foundation that I work in, And I'm just saying the marvel of the results of all of that is fantastic. But who will reward, and the government and the people to say that watershed management has created the entire livelihood, not of one village, but all the villages, because of the cascading effect of that water, including the celestial, terrestrial, and groundwater services. So it's very important that these 5 points are what we have learned. Do we have solutions for all of them? Do you have an action plan? I think they're emerging. This is going to take a lifetime, may not be in my lifetime, but at least we've set the seeds of working towards the Naturenomics. Thank you, Eric, for reminding me of my own subject. But it is the interdependence between nature and economics. That's all the definition. Naturenomics is the interdependence between nature and economics. And that's really what we have to achieve and move. It's a tough task, because if today's government, or today I'm told, can you do this? It's not possible. Somebody in Unilever tried it, the chairman for a while, Paul Polman. He got into real trouble with the stock market because that's the valuation. Some country did it, say like Bhutan. There is no value. That GDP of the country, when you look, Bhutan is 178. But on nature, it's right on top. So how do you measure nature? It's very important we leave that. With those thoughts, I close it. Thank you all for your time, guidance, direction, and support. It means a lot to nature. It means it means a lot for Mother Earth and for all of us. Enjoy the rest of the evening and the rest of the day. Thank you.